In case no one's reminded you lately, the purpose of being in business is, in fact, to make money. And if you've been looking at your business lately and thinking, man, I know my offers are pretty solid, but I just can't seem to attract the right people, and I feel like I'm working 5 times as hard to make half the amount of money, this episode's going to be for you. The common advice whenever you need to increase revenue in your business is raise your rates, build your audience, post more content, do more sales. And while yes, that can be effective, it's not always the best answer, and it's definitely not the first thing that I would look at if you're in a position of wanting to make more revenue in your online business. Today, we're going to talk about 4 specific ways that strategic branding can help you increase your revenue in real measurable ways like higher conversion rates, more repeat clients, and the ability to charge premium prices. So if you're ready to build a brand that doesn't just look good, but performs and makes you more money, keep listening. Welcome to the Six Figure Brand Podcast, where each week we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to build a six-figure business as an online service provider. I'm your host, Morgan. I'm a branding expert, online agency owner, mom of 2, and military spouse, and I'm obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you understand the ins and outs of branding so that you can use it to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. Whether you're just starting out or focused on scaling, we're diving into everything you need to build a profitable and sustainable online business. Let's get to it. I want to start out this episode with a quick reminder that branding is not only your logo and your color palette. It is the full experience of your brand, including visuals, but also, and probably more importantly, messaging, positioning, perception, client experience, and on and on and on. Strategic branding intentionally connects every one of those pieces to your business goals, your audience, your messaging, your offer alignment, all of it, so that they're all working as an ecosystem. And to put some real data behind this, there was a Forbes study done that said that consistent branding across platforms can increase revenue by up to 23%. So whenever I say 4 ways strategic branding can increase your revenue, I'm not kidding. Having a really solid strategic brand will make you more money when done right. And I know that it is very difficult to directly tie an ROI to branding. We're going to talk more about that towards the end of the episode. But just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. And I have had so many success stories from clients that said, after I launched my new brand, I made more money, got booked out, grew my team, did all these amazing things. So yes, it is hard to measure an ROI, but that doesn't mean that there's not one. I also want to note that design aesthetics do matter, and we're going to get into that in some of these points. They matter a lot, actually. That's the first thing that somebody sees and notices about your brand. But the strategy piece is what makes those visuals effective and profitable. So now that we have kind of some foundation laid, let's talk about 4 ways that a strong strategic brand can impact your bottom line. First and foremost, a strong strategic brand will help you expand your reach and improve your lead quality at the same time, which is huge. Because yes, going viral is great. Having a huge audience is great. But if your audience is made up of not the right people, then frankly, it's kind of useless. When your visuals and your messaging clearly communicate who you are, who you serve, how you can change their life, people will self-select in and out of your audience. So you can know that people who are following you on Instagram or subscribed to your email list or watching your YouTube videos are the right people. And that will kind of avoid this like shouting into the void problem that I think a lot of us talk about. I feel like I'm talking and nobody's listening. Strategic branding is how you make sure that the right people are listening. Instead of constantly having to sell people or convince them or clarify what you mean or over-explain, your marketing and your branding will do that for you. And people who are not the right fit will know to move along. You're not for them. And people who are the right fit will lean in closer and start listening to what you have to say. 46% of consumers say that they're willing to pay more for brands that they perceive as aligned with their values. And I will tell you, I do this all the time. There are many, many instances that I'm happy to spend a little bit more because I just like the business better. And the reason why I like the business better is because of their brand. It's because I've gotten great service from them. It's because I align with their mission and their values. Maybe they support some cause that I care about. So I will spend sometimes up to double the amount of money on something because I align with their brand and that's who I want to support versus somebody who's just the cheapest option. So not only is strategic branding super helpful in making sure that you're speaking to the right people and drawing the right people into your audience, but it's also going to help you increase your close rate on sales calls or with your marketing because those people are already the right people to buy from you. So you're not going to be getting on calls with people who are not the right fit. You probably still will here and there, but much less frequently. So it helps you use your time more efficiently because you already know that your leads, the people who are reaching out to you, are your people. So I think the key theme here to this point is you don't really need a bigger audience. Bigger is usually not better. You need a more aligned audience, an audience full of more of your ideal clients, and having a really strong strategic brand with values that are front and center, with a clear message and with a really solid brand experience is one of the best ways that you can do that. The second way that strategic branding can help you increase revenue in your business is by helping you raise your rates more confidently. Having a strong, polished, professional, strategic brand increases perceived value. And I know that we talk a lot about don't judge a book by its cover, and just because something looks expensive doesn't mean it's high quality. And yes, I 100% believe that's true. And fortunately or unfortunately, we live in a world where people care about looks. They will pay for perceived value. In fact, like I just said in the previous point, I will spend more money with a brand that just makes me feel better, even if their product isn't any better, because of exactly that, the way their brand looks, the way their brand experience is, how they make me feel. Your audience will do that too. And this is where visuals come in, right? The quality of your design, the quality of your visuals, your website, your social presence, all of those things directly influence your perceived credibility. If you have something that feels sloppy, kind of half-baked, like hodgepodge together, people are going to assume that not only is that what your visuals and your social media posts and your website look like, but they're going to assume that that's also how you run your business. So this is where investing in professional design can be a really, really good idea if that's not something that's your strong suit. And that's also where it's so important to focus on that strategy piece because yes, somebody can build you a beautiful brand, but if it's not designed in a way that's going to speak to your ideal client and convey the message that you need it to convey, then it's really not going to do a whole lot for you beyond just looking nice. There's a Stanford study that says that 75% of consumers, and I honestly feel like it's higher than this, but we'll go with 75, judge a business's credibility based on its website design. And I will tell you myself as a consumer, if I am looking for a dog trainer, for example, I'm going to Google dog trainers in insert my city. And then I'm going to pull up the first 5 websites that show up on Google. I'm probably going to look at their reviews. And then I'm going to start eliminating them based on whose website is difficult to navigate, doesn't have the information I need, or frankly, just looks unprofessional. So your audience is doing that too. And polished, professional, strategic design is a pretty easy way to make yourself stand apart from the competition. Not only that, but it helps you feel more confident. That internal alignment makes it easier for you to promote your services and more confidently raise your prices because you can say, hey, I know my stuff and my marketing and my visuals and my brand reflect that. And I should be charging a premium for my services. And you don't have to feel uneasy or like any of that imposter syndrome or any of those things when it comes to raising your rates and charging appropriately for your services because you walk the walk and you talk the talk. When your brand looks and feels like a high value experience, people expect to pay for a high value experience. So by investing in strategic branding and making sure that your design is on point, you don't even need to, quote, offer more value. You get to just charge more for the value that you're already offering because that's more readily apparent to your audience when they buy. The third way that strategic branding can help you increase your revenue in your online business is by helping you to market more efficiently. Strategy saves time. With a clear brand foundation, you can stop wasting energy guessing at what to post or what to say or how to show up or where to show up. When you know who you're talking to, you know what you stand for, you know how you're different, marketing honestly becomes this repeatable checklist that you don't have to think very hard about, rather than the constant hamster wheel of, I don't know what to post, I don't know what to say, this sounds stupid, I don't know how to make it look. All of those things that get us kind of stuck in a loop and never really moving forward. I've talked about this in a previous episode also, which I will link in the show notes, but it really removes a ton of decision fatigue from your business. You know what content to create, where to post it, who to talk to, how to measure if it's working, and how to adjust accordingly. And that's really the end of it. So the analogy I use is deciding what to have for dinner every night. You get to stop deciding what to have for dinner every night because you have a meal plan. You know what you're having for dinner every night, and now you just have to go through the motions of actually executing it. CoSchedule is a popular social media scheduling platform, and they do some research and studies on branding and the online business space and social media, etc. And they, in 2023, did a survey that said that companies with a documented brand strategy, not just, oh yeah, we have a brand strategy, but we have it written down somewhere and we follow it, are 3.5 times more likely to report success with their marketing. 350% more likely to have successful marketing. So if you feel like, oh, I'm doing all these things to market my business and none of them are working, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to take a look at your brand strategy before you keep doing more of what's not working. Less throwing spaghetti at the wall and more purposeful visibility that's going to compound over time. Having a strong brand strategy also makes delegation easier. You are going to get to a point in your business where you can't do it all yourself. You're going to have to hire somebody to help you with marketing or social media or even doing your client work or whatever in your business. And having a documented brand strategy that you can share with team members and contractors really helps everybody stay on the same page and aligned because they're all working out of the same playbook. When your brand strategy is clear, every second that you spend marketing your business will produce exponentially better results. And again, it will allow you to get off the hamster wheel of just create more content, because just like a bigger audience isn't what you need, more content is probably not what you need. Better content and a better, stronger marketing strategy is probably what you need. And finally, the fourth way that strategic branding can help you increase revenue in your online business is it helps you become more memorable. So we all know about the know, like, trust process in branding. First, your audience needs to know you, then they need to start to like you, then they need to build trust with you, and then they will buy from you. If you're not memorable, so if you're constantly changing how you show up online, what messaging you're using, what your visuals look like, people are never going to remember you. And if they can't remember you, then they're never going to feel like they know you. So you get stuck trying to make it through that know phase and you never even make it to the like and trust and then buying phase. Consistency is what leads to brand recognition. And brand recognition not only increases just the amount of people who want to book you for your services, but it also increases referrals. And I cannot overstate the importance of referrals in an online service-based business. On average, it takes 5 to 7 impressions for someone to remember your business. So 5 to 7 times that they need to see your stuff and recognize that it's you before they will remember you, before they can get through the no phase and start working on deciding whether or not they like you. Strategic branding kind of can help make you be the go-to person in your industry. Strong visuals, distinctive messaging, a killer client experience, showing your personality are what help people remember you more quickly. And then whenever their friend says, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me run ads in my business. Do you know anyone? You are the first person that immediately comes to mind for them. And they can say, oh yeah, I know this person. And here's like what I've seen from them online. And they seem really great. You should reach out to them. Even if they've never worked with you. If they have worked with you, then that is going to be even stronger. But this is how we build recognition so that people can refer us, so we can become the person in our industry. Over time, this is going to help you drive organic growth in the way of referrals, repeat business, partnerships, etc., which is my favorite way to grow my business. You can't rely on that exclusively, but referrals have been huge for me in the last decade of growing my business. And as a service provider, I think referrals are so great because 1, you don't have to really sell to them so much. They're already coming to you primed to buy. And 2, kind of based on who referred them to you, whether they're going to be a good fit, what type of client they're going to be, all of that stuff. So you can go into your discovery call with them feeling a lot more confident and kind of knowing what to expect on both ends, yours and theirs. So strategic branding is really how you claim kind of the mental slot in your audience's mind, right? I am the brand designer. This person is the copywriter, the ad strategist, the social media manager. When people remember you, you spend a lot less time chasing new clients and a lot more time nurturing relationships and closing deals and booking new projects. So now let's circle back to what I mentioned in the beginning about the ROI of branding. It is hard, but not impossible to measure the ROI of branding. You just have to know what to pay attention to, track the right things, and really zoom out far enough. Just a footnote here, ROI is return on investment. So you invested $5,000, how much money did you get back? ROI with branding is tricky because first and foremost, it's usually part of a larger ecosystem, for one. And secondly, it kind of builds gradually. It takes a long time, right? So my 2 big rules when we're looking at ROI on brand strategy and design is 1, to zoom out. So we're looking at trends over like 6 months to a year. not a couple of weeks. And secondly, track metrics that reflect your brand performance as a whole rather than just like one specific marketing campaign or one specific launch. So when I'm talking about metrics, I'm talking about things like your website stats. So conversion rates, average time on a page, how much website traffic you're getting, your lead metrics. So how many leads are coming from referrals versus organic marketing versus any paid marketing that you might be doing, sales metrics. So in the product world, this would be like your average order value. But as far as service-based businesses, what's your average project worth? How many clients are repeat clients? How long does a client stay with you if it's like an ongoing coaching container or something like that? And then also feedback. Ask your people for feedback. Ask them, what made you choose us? What was your experience like working with us? I have a whole episode about how to collect strategic feedback from your clients. I'll link that in the show notes. But I cannot overstate the importance of just asking your people how they feel about your brand and what their experience was like working with you. I also really want to encourage you to look at branding as a long-term investment, right? Like we're playing the long game here. You are not, and I tell clients this on discovery calls, we're not going to launch your new brand and next month you're going to make $20,000. That has happened before, but that's usually in conjunction with a lot of other changes in their business. So they've, hired a SEO person to help get their website seen more, or they've spent a bunch of money on paid ads, or they did a huge launch, or they hired a copywriter. So they're doing all of these things in tandem with branding. That's where it can make it a little tricky to tie something directly back to brand design. And what I mean whenever I say it's part of a larger ecosystem. So it's unlikely that you're going to see an immediate ROI when you invest in branding within the next month or 2 months. But you should be able to look at 6 months to a year from now and see qualitative things like it feels easier to market. I'm happier with my brand. People are giving me compliments on it, but also quantitative things such as I've booked more clients. I've raised my rates. I'm booked out for the next year, or I'm a coach and I filled my group coaching program. Those types of things are really important and they just take a while to see, which is unfortunate, but also rest assured that because they take a while to come to fruition also means that it's going to serve you for a really, really long time. So long-term investment, long-term results. So to summarize, having a really strong strategic brand will help you grow revenue in your online business by attracting more ideal clients, increasing the perceived value of your services and allowing you to raise your rates, making your marketing more effective and efficient, and boosting your brand recognition and increasing referrals. And yes, you can track the ROI of branding. So this has been a really broad overview of how strategic branding can increase revenue in your online business. If you would like some idea of how strategic branding can increase revenue in your online business specifically, this is exactly what I do in my standout brand strategy session with clients. I would love to hop on a discovery call with you and just talk through whether or not this could be for you, if it can help, what you should do first, answer any questions, and help you figure out what that next step in your business can be. So the link for that is always in the show notes along with the coupon code. And I just want to remind you that branding is not about just looking good. Your brand should be making you money. And that's what we're trying to help you with here on the Six Figure Brand Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Six Figure Brand Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to rate the show and leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. And as a thank you, I'll send you coffee on me. Yes, I'm serious. As a smaller show for now, you taking the time to do this makes a huge impact on how we can reach more people and how I can continue to create this content for free. When you take a screenshot of your review, follow and tag me on Instagram at @SpectandCo. I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. As always, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources I mentioned during the episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week.